Democrats target 401ks and IRA retirement accounts. Democrats in the U.S. House have been conducting hearings on proposals to confiscate workers' personal retirement accounts, including 401ks and IRAs, and convert them to accounts managed by the Social Security Administration. Triggered by the financial crisis of the past 2 months, the hearings reportedly were meant to stem losses incurred by many workers and retirees whose 401ks and IRA balances have been shrinking rapidly. Now, what did I tell you months ago? It's going to be just like Argentina and other countries. They're taking it to keep it safe. The government always wants to keep you safe and always wants to help you. They love you. That's a joke for those drinking fluoride. The testimony of Teresa Gardasilli, we're going to get her on, professor of economic policy, analyst at the New School for Social Research in New York. In a hearing October 7th, drew the most attention and criticism. And I've been reading these testimonies. That's why I told you about this a while back. I mean, they really did say this. Testifying for the House Committee for Education and Labor, she proposed that the government eliminate tax breaks for 401ks and similar retirement accounts such as IRAs. And they're talking about, by the way, retroactively. Oh, yeah, they're going to take them. And confiscate workers' retirement, that's a quote, confiscate workers' retirement plan accounts and convert them to a universal guaranteed retirement accounts, but with a lower yield, managed by the Social Security Administration. See, they're not going to let Social Security go bankrupt. They're going to steal the 40% of the public that actually save. See, this whole system is about punishing the middle class who actually saves and isn't on the government trough. And then they're going to tell the poor people they're going to get it. They'll really only get a few percentage points, a few crumbs. It'll be highly advertised. The foreign bankers will get it all. Representative George Miller, Democrat, California, chairman of the House Committee on Education and Labor, and prepared remarks on the hearing on the impact of financial crisis on workers' retirement security, blamed Wall Street for the financial crisis, and said his committee will strengthen and protect Americans' 401k pensions and other retirement plans, and the Democratic Congress will continue to conduct the much-needed oversight on behalf of the American people. Currently, 401k plans allow Americans to invest pre-tax money, and their employers match up to defend to a defined percentage, which not only increases workers' retirement savings, but also reduces their annual income tax. The balances are fully inheritable, subject to income tax, meaning workers pass on their wealth to their heirs. Unlike Social Security, even when they leave an employer and go to one that doesn't offer a 401k or pension, workers can transfer their balances to a qualified IRA. Okay. And it's being proposed as mandating equality. You're for equality, aren't you? Give us your money. You're not racist, are you? Give us your money. The bankers need it. And there's several other news articles covering all of this. Again, Paul Watson's doing a more detailed one on it. But we're going to get the people pushing this on the show. Now, notice how this dialectic works. This psychological warfare operation works. A Democrat, on average, will see anything and everything that a Democratic leader says through the lens of, that's my team, that's my family, that's my tribe, that's my group, that's my, organization I support. It must be a good thing. It must be a thing that is going to help me and my family. And now the Democrats are saying private corporations, capitalism, free market did this. When in reality, it is government, instead of letting these financial institutions that engage in all these crimes fail, they're coming in and saying, okay, we'll bail you out with $2 trillion plus so far of taxpayer money given directly to the private Federal Reserve, and then they give it to their private member banks who say they're keeping it for bonuses. But it's even worse than that. See, I'm going along the lines of debate of, oh, the banks are in trouble, they need to be bailed out because of bad investments. But that really wasn't true. We had economists on. We looked at the real numbers. The banks control the fiat currencies. They could have easily covered the few $100 billion in bad mortgages. But instead, they advertised that it was horrible, that it was infecting everything to destroy confidence. They then said we were going to have a depression if they weren't given the bailout. But the bailout wasn't even the issue. The $840 billion that was really $5 trillion that they've already gotten $2 trillion of. The issue was the empowerment they got. And then as soon as they got the money, they didn't put any of it into the economy. So see how ridiculous it is to hear the Democrats saying, oh, well, private corporations did this. They got out of control, and then the government had to step in to fix things. No, private corporations came in and bought off the government, and the private corporations, the private banks already own the media, and they came out and told the public, we're going to have a depression if you don't bail us out and give us all these new powers. But the public knew they were a pack of liars and said, no, we're not going along with it. And so the government said, we don't care what you want. We're going to save the economy. We're going to bail them out. And then it turned out it wasn't a bailout. It was unlimited power for these private institutions. It was the setup of world government. Okay? And so now the Democrats come out and say, the free market did this. The free market caused all of this. And so the government has to take over all these pension funds and 401ks and tax them and regulate them and take big percentages of them because you can't trust them invested in the stock market. And then the government's going to take that money and hand it as interest on debt to the private banks. You understand how that works? Not only are the private banks given all of our money, then we've got to pay interest on the money that we give them. See, it's so dastardly, so corrupt. It's so evil. I can't even explain it. I mean, how do you explain something this corrupt? How do you explain something this bad? I mean, Paul, you're in there. Is this making sense what I'm saying? So you're saying you're confused. Let me. And see, that's why the public can't figure this out, because it is just so mind-boggling. The banks set up a system to where banks can issue unlimited liquidity. It's not even real paper money in the banks. They then buy up bridges and infrastructure and media companies and defense contractors and toll roads and water districts. They then loan money to governments, county, city, state, that doesn't exist at huge interest rates. They get more and more power, more and more control. Then they come in and shut off liquidity, shut off credit to Main Street and the general public, and the economy starts grinding to a halt. And they all fearmonger and say, give us unlimited government power and unlimited trillions of dollars, and then we'll save the economy. They get the money and laugh at the public and say, we were never insolvent. We're hoarding it and keeping it for tens of billions of dollars per company in bonuses to our CEOs and managers. Then they have the Democrats put into office in the name of stopping all of this, because the public really thinks George Bush, the puppet, did it all. He certainly stood by and helped do it, but he's just a puppet. And now the Democrats come in and say, man, these private corporations have sure robbed us. We're just going to take your pension funds and 401ks now and tax them and take large percentages of them to keep them safe. I mean, that's a lie right there. We're going to take a bunch of your money to keep it safe. There's the congressman saying it. So see, it's so many lies. Every word, every statement is a lie. You have to stop and analyze each little fragment, each little piece. Then he goes on and blames the free market for all of this. That'd be like if bank robbers went and stuck up a bank and the police walked out and had a press conference and said, the free market caused this. The free market did this. We've got to outlaw having banks because banks get robbed. That's kind of like, we've got to ban guns because people shoot each other. Yeah, bad people, and good people need them to protect themselves. So this is just the total takeover. This is how world government finally happened, of foreign by the bankers. And they've got the Democrats saying, we're going to take your 401k plan, we're going to take your pension fund under government control, we're going to not make it tax exempt, we're going to retroactively steal large percentages of it. You're going to get this as a government check from us. We're just going to steal the whole stock market. But then they're going to make the socialist end of it government, stealing it from it, but the profit end of it, that'll still go to the foreign banks. I mean, just unspeakable. But at the end of the day, the point is they're stealing your 401ks, they're going to steal your retirement accounts, and they're going to do it in the name of protecting it and then blaming the free market while they do it when they engineered the whole thing to begin with. And this isn't free market, this is robbery through government by private interests.